There is a silent language that the wealthiest souls on earth have mastered. It's not spoken with arrogance. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't even try to convince. It simply declares. And when it speaks, the universe listens, without hesitation, without delay. Most people speak their fears, their lack, their stories of being left behind. But the ultra-rich, they speak differently. They speak from the end, not from the problem. They don't ask how long it will take. They speak as if it's already done. And that is the secret that flips reality in their favor, over and over again. Beloved soul, if you're tired of waiting, if you're tired of praying, affirming, visualizing, and still watching the door stay shut, then this might be the very moment your words learn to open the gates of gold. Not by force, but by frequency. There's a way to speak that calls wealth from the invisible. There's a tone that makes money run towards you, not away from you. You've just forgotten it, but it's not lost. Today we're going to remember the words that never return void. Today, you're going to learn how to speak like the ultra-rich and watch everything change. You must first understand that your voice is not just sound, it is creation. It shapes the reality around you like a potter shapes clay. Every sentence is either building the kingdom you desire or reinforcing the prison you've been trying to escape. Most people speak by habit. They repeat what they heard growing up. They mimic the fear in their mother's voice or the doubt in their father's sighs. They say things like, "I can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees." Or, "That's just too expensive." These phrases may seem harmless, but they are weapons of spiritual warfare against your own abundance. The ultra-rich don't speak this way, not because they were born lucky, but because they were trained differently. They say, "It's already mine." They say, "I am the source from which money flows." They say, "I move in divine timing, and I'm always in the right place at the right time." You see, wealth didn't choose them by accident. It was invited by the vibration of their words. The rich don't talk about needing money, they talk about circulating it. They don't worry about how it will come. They know the how is none of their business, only the belief is. So now I ask you, what have you been saying all day long? Have your words opened doors or closed them? Have they made you magnetic or repelling? Are you calling money forth or cursing it away with every sigh? Because the universe doesn't hear what you want, it hears what you say. And if what you say contradicts your desire, it will honor your speech, not your longing. The ultra-rich understand that the first bank account is not in a vault, it's in the mind. And the first withdrawal is not in dollars, it's in language. They speak with certainty. Even when their outer world is shaky, their inner world is steady. Even when things seem delayed, they don't speak delay, they speak divine alignment. They speak increase, not decrease. They speak harvest, not hardship. And so, their life bends to meet the tone of their truth. Listen closely, because this is where everything begins to change. You don't need to see the money before you speak like it's there. That's not how miracles work. You speak it first. You declare it first. You hold your tongue when fear rises and you respond with bold, unwavering, ridiculous faith. That is the currency of the wealthy. Faith, not facts. Declaration, not doubt. Speak like this: I do not chase, I attract. I walk in a wealth frequency. Money flows to me in rivers, not drops. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. I live in a divine economy. My wealth is inevitable. I am not looking for wealth. I aim wealth. These words are not just affirmations. They are instructions to the universe. They are codes that unlock new timelines. The rich do not speak what they see. They speak what they desire until what they desire becomes what they see. And you can too. But only if you're brave enough to silence the old voice. The one that tells you to be realistic. The one that whispers, "You're too late," or "You'll never have that." That voice is not your guide, it's your prison guard. And you have the key to walk free right now. Speak like someone who expects miracles. Speak like someone who knows that every word carries weight. When the ultra-rich speak, they don't speak from survival. They speak from overflow. Even when they were broke, they talk like royalty. They didn't wait to have money to speak richly. They spoke richly so they could have money. When you say, "I am blessed beyond measure," you are not lying. You are prophesying. When you say, "Wealth finds me easily," you are not exaggerating. You are setting the tone. But if you say, "I can't keep up," "I'm broke," or "It's always hard for me," you are writing that into your future like a sacred contract. The ultra-rich speak in contracts of wealth. They make declarations that cannot return void. They don't entertain self-pity even when life is unfair. They don't speak in terms of someday. They speak now, because they know the now is all that exists. The future is shaped here. So stop asking, "How do I get rich?" and start declaring, "I am the vibration of wealth." Stop saying, "I hope it happens," and start affirming, "It's already mine." Stop giving power to what's missing and give power to what's coming. Speak like you already received the call, the email, the contract, the opportunity. Speak like the check is already signed. Speak like the door is already open. Speak like the land is already purchased. Speak like your name is already on the title. You don't have to fake anything. You just have to align. When you align your words with the wealth you desire, your world must rearrange. That's the law. The universe doesn't choose favorites, it chooses frequencies. Speak the frequency of wealth, and you'll attract everything that matches it. But beware, the shift doesn't come from saying the right words once. It comes from making those words your default language. You must discipline your speech. The ultra-rich don't just speak abundance in public, and then cry lack in private. They are consistent. They speak power when no one is watching. They affirm wealth when no one is clapping. Their words are not for show, they are for creation. You must make your inner world so rich that even if your bank account is empty, you feel like a billionaire. Because that feeling, that frequency, is what attracts the form. Say it even when you don't feel it, especially when you don't feel it. Because when you speak in faith, you plant the seed, and every seed spoken in truth must bear fruit. Here is a sacred truth: you can't speak poverty and live in wealth. You can't speak fear and live in favor. You can't speak not enough and expect overflow. Your words are the GPS of your life. If you keep saying you're lost, the universe will never show you the way. Change your words, and you change your world. Start every morning like this: I am the wealth I've been waiting for. Everything I touch turns to gold. My voice carries the power of divine creation. Every cell in my body is vibrating with prosperity. I don't wait for money. I walk with it. Opportunities chase me down because I'm aligned. My name is known in places my feet haven't even reached yet. I am no longer available for lack, for waiting, for wondering. I'm available for wealth and nothing less. The ultra-rich don't just hope, they expect. They don't just ask, they declare. And their declarations are built on unshakable trust. Trust that the unseen is more real than the seen. Trust that their words are not echoes, but blueprints. So now, beloved soul, it is your turn. What world will your words build? What future will your voice invite? Will you keep repeating the story of not enough, or will you finally declare with holy boldness, I am the wealthy one? Say it now. Say it like your life depends on it, because it does. Say it like every door is listening, because they are. Say it like money is a living thing waiting to respond, because it is. Say it like your future self is clapping, because they are. Speak like the ultra-rich, and watch everything change. There is something sacred about the moment you decide to never again speak like a beggar in your own kingdom. When you wake up one morning and the first words that leave your mouth are not, I hope I make it, but I was made for this. Everything in your energy shifts. It's as if the walls of delay crumble just a little, the clouds part just enough to let in a beam of light. Because you no longer speak from the dust, you speak from dominion. The ultra-rich never use their words to describe what is going wrong. They use them to command what is about to go right. And that is where the gap between the average and the aligned is found. The average use words to explain. The aligned use words to expand. One describes the storm. The other moves the storm. One calls the bank and says, I can't afford this right now. The other walks in saying, I am the answer to this need. I am the wealth in motion. I carry the signature of abundance. Your voice is not decoration. It is a tool of transformation, and it must be wielded with intention. The richest people in spirit and material do not speak by accident. They pause before they declare. They feel the power behind every phrase. They understand that saying, I always struggle, is not a confession. It's a curse. That saying, I'm not lucky with money, is not a statement. It's a spell. And you can choose to break those spells now, not with struggle, not with strain, but with supernatural speech. Try this the next time you are tempted to say, I can't afford it. Pause, breathe and speak instead. It's not aligned right now, but I am aligned with more than enough. Say, money is making its way to me in creative and unexpected ways. Say, wealth comes to me through channels I haven't even imagined yet. Watch how your world bends. Watch how your spirit expands. Because now, you are speaking like a creator, not a consumer. You are speaking like the source, not the seeker. The ultra-rich live by divine dialogue. They don't just speak to people, they speak to circumstances. They speak to time. They speak to opportunity like it's a friend, not a stranger. They greet each morning with thank you, not with I hope. They say, this day is loaded with provision. They say, money is circling my name. They say, all things are working for my increase. And the world begins to respond, not because they are better than you, but because they are bold with their words. Let me remind you, your subconscious is always listening. It is the soil, and your words are the seeds. When you say something over and over, even in jest, it becomes part of the structure you live in. The ultra-rich joke about wealth, not lack. They laugh about blessings, not burdens. Even their humor carries prosperity. That's how embedded wealth is in their vibration. They don't say, I'm dying to pay rent. They say, I'm alive and thriving because I always have more than enough. You must fall in love with speaking power. You must become obsessed with how your words feel before they become visible. Because here's the truth, your life is already echoing what your mouth has been saying for years. You're not living in a coincidence. You're living in a conversation, and when that conversation changes, so does everything else. Practice this. Before you pay a bill, say, "Thank you, money, for flowing through me. As I release you, you return multiplied." Before you enter a meeting, say, "My presence is profitable. My energy is enriching. I bring increase wherever I go." When you walk through the grocery store, say, "Every shelf honors my abundance. Everything here is mine by divine right." This is not delusion, it's decision. This is not denial, it's dominion. And the ultra-rich have chosen this way of speaking even when they had no proof, because they understood that proof follows proclamation. Let's go deeper. When you wake up, how do you speak to your reflection? Do you sigh and say, "Here we go again"? Or do you stand with spine straight and spirit awake and declare, "I am walking wealth. I am divine currency. My worth is not measured in coins, it's measured in confidence." The ultra-rich don't shrink when they look in the mirror. They rise, because their words have built them up from the inside out. And when things go wrong, and they do, they don't curse the moment. They speak to it like a servant, not a master. They say, "Even this is working for my good." They say, "I've seen delay before, and I've seen how it turns to favor." They don't panic. They prophesy, because they know what you must now know. Fear speaks death, but faith speaks resurrection. Start training yourself to catch every weak word before it escapes your lips. Don't let your mouth betray your vision. Don't speak, "I'm stuck," when you're being positioned. Don't say, "I'm broke," when you are being broken open for breakthrough. The ultra-rich never speak in terms of being trapped. They speak in terms of transition, because they know their words are building the next room long before they walk into it. There's an inner posture the rich carry, and it comes from how they speak to life. They say, "Everything belongs to me in divine timing." They say, "This world is not withholding, it is preparing." They say, "Money is loyal to me because I speak the language it understands." And you must learn to say it too, not once, not when things are good, but daily, consistently, relentlessly. You are not powerless, you are not overlooked, you are not forgotten. But if your mouth continues to speak those things, you'll build a mansion of mirrors that only reflect them back to you. You must stop rehearsing the worst-case scenario and start declaring the best-case energy. Because the ultra-rich don't prepare for problems, they prepare for promises. Speak now like it's already yours. Say it again and again until your nervous system believes you, until your breath stabilizes, until your hands stop shaking, until your heart beats in rhythm with abundance. This is how you train yourself to speak like wealth. Not visit it, not chase it, but embody it. You must stop saying things like, "I'm just surviving," and start saying, "I'm rising in levels of overflow." Stop saying, "Money doesn't like me," and start saying, "Money respects my energy." Speak as if every molecule in your body is coded for prosperity, because it is. You were not born to strive. You were born to speak and receive. When you walk into a room, your words should arrive before you. When you open your mouth, the room should shift. When you greet someone, they should feel wealth in your hello, because you no longer speak like someone waiting for permission. You speak like someone who already holds the key. There is no power in repeating what's already visible. True power comes from speaking what has yet to appear, and knowing it's on the way. Now breathe that truth in. And so, you begin to understand every time you speak, you are setting your standard, not for others, for yourself. Every sentence you utter becomes a declaration of what you will tolerate, what you will attract, and what you will no longer settle for. The ultra-rich don't just speak wealth into existence, they speak alignment. They speak according to who they've decided to be, and that decision echoes in every conversation, every affirmation, every whisper to themselves when no one else is around. This is the difference. The average person uses words to describe their current condition. The ultra-rich use words to define their identity. They don't say, "I want to be wealthy." They say, "I am wealth. I am the frequency that makes gold move." They don't say, "Maybe someday." They say, "Today is the day my fortune finds me." It is not ego, it is energetic truth. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. They don't beg for blessings, they speak as the embodiment of blessing. When you walk through life with this kind of speech, the world begins to reorder itself. You're not just another person looking for a break. You're a force. You're a magnet. You're a walking confirmation that heaven and earth have already said yes. People feel it when you talk. Not because you're loud, but because your words are anchored. Anchored in conviction. Anchored in faith. Anchored in identity. The reason most people stay in cycles is because they keep speaking the cycle. They say, "It always ends like this," or "It never works out for me," or "This is just my luck." But you are not here to echo the patterns of the past. You are here to disrupt them with a new language, a new declaration, a new rhythm of the tongue that calls forth a future you've never lived before. Try saying this every morning. I no longer speak from lack. I speak from legacy. I don't carry the voice of desperation. I carry the vibration of fulfillment. I don't describe what's missing. I describe what's manifesting. My mouth is not a mirror of my fears. It is the gateway of my fortune. It may feel strange at first. You might feel like you're lying. But the truth is you've been lying for years every time you said you're not enough. Every time you said you don't deserve more. Every time you joked about being broke, being unlucky, being left out. You weren't just joking, you were prophesying. But now you've become aware. Now, you hold the brush to repaint your life with words that honor your inheritance. The ultra-rich never confuse their outer condition with their inner authority. Even in the middle of a setback, they speak like they're on a comeback. Even in a season of waiting, they speak like they're being prepared. They do not describe the wilderness. They declare the promised land. They are fluent in favor. They speak success when it's invisible, and by doing so, they make it inevitable. They don't say, let's see what happens. They say, watch what happens when I speak with alignment. They don't say, I hope this opportunity works. They say, this opportunity was tailor-made for my expansion, because wealth does not just come to those who work hard, it comes to those who speak in harmony with increase. Understand this, every powerful person you admire has mastered one thing, their inner dialogue. When the world gets loud, they get clearer. When life feels uncertain, their words remain unshaken. They don't match the volume of their storm. They match the volume of their vision. And you must do the same. Even if your environment hasn't caught up yet. Even if the evidence hasn't arrived. Your words go before you and create the path. Stop letting emotions rule your mouth. Stop letting exhaustion write your script. Stop letting disappointment dictate your declarations. That's not your story anymore. Your new story sounds like this. Everything I say builds bridges to abundance. My vocabulary is saturated with victory. I speak with the authority of someone who has already arrived. My words are wealth in motion. The ultra-rich don't wait for the world to give them permission. They don't wait for a bank balance to speak boldly. They speak boldly to transform the bank balance. Their confidence doesn't come from circumstance. It comes from certainty. And that certainty is birthed in the silence, when no one else is listening, but the soul is awake. You must speak to your bank account like it's listening, because it is. Speak to your business like it hears your tone, because it does. Speak to your future like it's forming around your words, because it is. There is no neutral ground in speech. Every word is either building your wealth or blocking it. This is how the ultra-rich live. They speak as if the universe is a trusted partner, not a reluctant stranger. They don't just affirm abundance. They embody it in every syllable. Their declarations carry direction. They don't just want money. They give it a mission. They don't just want wealth. They assign it a purpose. And wealth responds to that. Let every word you speak today pass through this filter. Does this word build or break? Does this phrase honor the life I'm creating, or does it insult it? Would someone living in full abundance say this? Or am I betraying myself in casual language? Because casual language creates casual results. And you weren't born for average. You weren't created for crumbs. You weren't designed to just get by. You were destined to overflow. To speak worlds into being. To let your voice become the trumpet of transformation. Speak like someone who has heard the future whisper, you win. Speak like someone who has nothing to prove, because their words have already proven their power. Speak with elegance. Speak with fire. Speak with the sacred remembrance that your words don't just fill space, they fill destiny, and still you rise word by word, vow by vow. Because something deep within you remembers, there was never a moment in your life when your words didn't matter. Even as a child, when you whispered, one day I'll be great. The universe leaned in. Even when you cried into the night, unsure of how the pain would ever turn to power, your voice was shaping unseen outcomes. You have always been powerful, but now you are aware. And awareness changes everything. The ultra-rich are not fluent in confusion. Their vocabulary does not include apology for desiring more. They don't call their expansion selfish or their abundance excessive. They speak from a truth that was once hidden, now revealed. They are the divine channel, and their voice is the vessel. They do not argue with life, they instruct it. They do not beg the moment, they bless it with their words. So speak as if every cell in your body is listening. Because it is. Speak as if your ancestors are nodding in agreement. Because they are. Speak as if the future is waiting on your command. Because it is. Your voice is not just breath, it's blueprint. Every sentence you speak is choosing a direction, toward wealth or away from it, toward freedom or deeper into the chains of doubt. The ultra-rich speak from the mountaintop, even when their feet are still climbing. They don't speak the pain. They speak the promise. They don't echo lack. They announce legacy. They do not seek approval before they speak boldly. They know that bold speech births favor, and fearful speech delays it. When the rest of the world is worried, they're speaking certainty, not because life is always easy, but because their language makes it lighter. You must understand that wealth is not attracted to neediness. It's attracted to clarity. When you say, I wish, wealth hears uncertainty. When you say, I might, money hesitates. But when you say I am, the doors fly open. When you say, it is done, wealth runs toward you. Your job is not to convince life you are ready. Your job is to speak like someone who already owns it. There is no such thing as neutral words. Every statement carries a charge, a frequency, a seed. So begin to remove every phrase that poisons your prosperity. Erase, it's too expensive. Replace it with, it's already on its way to me. Erase, I can't make ends meet. Replace it with, I live in a flow of limitless provision. Erase, people like me don't get rich. Replace it with, I was born for overflow. This is not delusion. This is divine instruction. The ultra-rich don't merely affirm, they command. Their speech is not a performance, it's a pattern, a sacred rhythm. They have trained their lips to line up with their spirit, so that even when logic doubts, their words do not. You must train your voice like it's your most sacred tool. Because it is. You must speak as if every word is currency, because it is. Every sentence is a transaction with the future. Every phrase is a signature on your spiritual bank account. And when your language is rich, your life must eventually match it. Say this out loud. I speak with divine accuracy. My tongue only releases truth that serves my increase. I bless everything I see, and everything blesses me back. My words are clothed in royalty and draped in overflow. I don't ask for money. I awaken it. Feel the shift. That's not imagination. That's activation. That's the power of speaking like the ultra-rich. They don't use words as decoration. They use them as creation. They speak from their highest self, not their history. And that is why the future bends toward them like metal to a magnet. You must now become aware of how casually the world uses its words. People speak of being broke, like it's an identity. They laugh about their bad luck, like it's a personality trait. They say, nothing ever works out, like it's some kind of joke. But it's not funny. It's binding. The universe is listening, not for entertainment, but for instruction. You are never just talking, you are always transmitting. So decide today, will you continue to speak from wounds, or will you speak from wisdom? Will you speak like a problem, or speak like a solution? Will your voice echo fear, or will it project faith? The ultra-rich speak with conviction in quiet rooms. They don't wait for applause. They don't need validation. Their voice is not shaped by feedback. It is shaped by frequency. They speak to become, not to impress. And that's why wealth trusts them. That's why the unseen becomes seen around them. That's why they walk into places where no one knows their name, and leave as if they own the building. You don't need louder words, you need cleaner ones. You don't need more noise, you need more precision. Speak less, speak softly, but speak unshakably. Speak as if the whole universe is rearranging itself every time you open your mouth. Because it is. Every single time you say, I am abundance, you are reminding your spirit of its original language. Every time you say, wealth walks with me, you are restoring the balance that struggle tried to steal. Every time you say, money multiplies wherever I go, you are handing life a map with directions to your door. And so, beloved soul, if there is one truth that must anchor itself in your heart today, let it be this. You were never meant to chase wealth. You were meant to speak it forth. You were never created to strive, to beg, to hustle for worth. You were created to command with love, declare with clarity, and shape reality with your voice. The ultra-rich are not separate from you. They are simply those who remembered faster. And now you remember too. Your voice is no longer a whisper of fear. It is the sound of certainty. Your words are no longer chained to what was. They are the keys to what's next. You don't speak like someone hoping to be chosen. You speak like someone who knows they already were. You don't echo lack. You radiate abundance. You don't speak problems, you prophesy possibilities. From this moment forward, your words are no longer casual. They are sacred, they are aligned, they are unstoppable. Speak as the wealthy soul you are. Speak like someone who walks in grace and overflow in divine timing. Speak like the ultra-rich. And watch everything change.